North Atlantic fishing boat. Just reported mermaid sightings. In the deep sea. In October 2023, a vessel in the North Atlantic detected something tracking it from 8,000 feet below. It wasn't drifting, it wasn't fleeing, it was following. What the crew saw and recorded didn't match any known species, and the sonar confirmed it. The night the ocean broke the rules. In October 2023, a fishing vessel in the North Atlantic recorded something unusual beneath its hull after nearly 14 hours at sea. At around 2:17 a.m., sonar began detecting movement tracking alongside the boat. At first, the crew assumed it was a large fish, but the signal stayed consistent and matched the vessel's speed, which immediately raised concern. The sonar showed a shape rising vertically from deeper water and stopping just below the vessel. This kind of movement is highly unusual in such cold, high-pressure environments. The system was checked multiple times, but the reading stayed stable. When crew members looked overboard, one reported seeing a faint shape beneath the surface, briefly visible under deck lights. The figure did not resemble any known marine species. Its movement appeared controlled rather than instinctive. Instead of fleeing, it maintained position, adjusting its depth relative to the vessel. The captain carefully logged the event, noting the behavior as the most unusual part of the encounter. For about 9 minutes, the object tracked the boat before suddenly disappearing from sonar, dropping out of range. The crew resumed work, but the incident stood out. The report was later flagged because the movement and behavior did not match any known marine patterns. In the hours that followed, the captain reviewed the sonar logs multiple times, confirming the signal had remained stable throughout the encounter. No environmental factors, such as currents, debris, or temperature shifts, could explain the consistent tracking. By 3:05 a.m., the vessel had moved several nautical miles away, yet no further signals appeared. The crew noted the absence of any follow-up movement, which made the initial encounter even more unusual. When the report was submitted later that day, it was categorized under irregular sonar activity, but the detailed observations ensured it received additional review from maritime analysts. The coordinates that should be empty. The recorded location matched a deep Atlantic zone mapped in 2019, where depths exceed 8,000 feet and pressure reaches over 6 tons per square inch. These areas are known for extreme conditions, typically supporting only simple organisms. Researchers reviewing the data noted that large, coordinated movement at that depth is not expected. Most deep-sea life moves slowly to conserve energy. Rapid vertical motion, like what was recorded, contradicts known survival behavior. The object's movement also showed consistency. It maintained distance and tracked the vessel, suggesting awareness rather than random motion. This raised further questions, as such behavior is not observed in known deep-sea species. While similar extreme environments, like the Mariana Trench host life, those organisms remain localized and do not follow moving objects. The coordinates from this incident fall in a region that, based on current science, should not support this kind of activity. The report was reviewed by specialists who confirmed one key point. The behavior recorded does not match any known biological or environmental explanation for that depth. What the crew actually saw. As the vessel moved through the North Atlantic, several crew members stepped onto the deck around 2:19 a.m. to confirm what the sonar was showing. Under dim lighting, a pale, elongated figure became visible just beneath the surface. It didn't move like any fish they had seen before. Instead of quick turns or sudden bursts, its motion was smooth and controlled, staying aligned with the boat. One crew member noted the figure held its position without drifting, adjusting its depth as the vessel shifted. The limbs appeared flexible, bending naturally with the pressure rather than resisting it. This kind of movement doesn't match known species recorded in 2023 surveys of that region. Another detail stood out during the sighting, when a brief reflection appeared. similar to eyes catching light in total darkness. For nearly 7 minutes, the figure maintained distance, following the vessel at a steady pace. At one point, it seemed to turn slightly, aligning itself with the direction of travel. The motion remained consistent, with no sudden acceleration or panic response, which is typical for marine life when approaching surface activity. As the crew continued observing, the figure gradually lowered itself deeper into the water. There was no splash, no sharp dive, just a controlled descent. Within moments, it faded into darkness, disappearing toward depths near 8,000 feet. The crew remained on deck for several minutes after, scanning the water, but nothing returned. The encounter ended as quietly as it began, leaving only the recorded observations and a sense that what they saw did not match anything familiar in that region. The sonar footage nobody can explain. The sonar recordings captured during October 2023 revealed a shape rising from depths beyond 8,000 feet, moving upward at a speed not seen in deep-sea environments. Creatures at those depths typically move slowly due to pressure and limited energy, but this object reached the vessel quickly and then stopped directly beneath it. What made the data unusual was its behavior. The object didn't just pass by, it paused and held position. As the vessel adjusted course slightly in the North Atlantic, the shape below mirrored those movements, maintaining a consistent gap. This type of tracking behavior has not been documented in marine studies. The sonar operator logged multiple readings, confirming the signal remained stable and consistent for several minutes. There were no signs of interference or system malfunction during the 2:17 a.m. reading. Then, just as suddenly as it appeared, the signal dropped. The object seemed to descend vertically, disappearing from range. When analysts later reviewed the data, they marked it as inconsistent with known biological patterns. The movement, speed, and behavior did not align with any recorded species, leaving the footage unexplained within current research. Further analysis conducted after 2024 review focused on the motion pattern itself, rather than just the speed. Specialists noted that the object maintained a controlled ascent and descent, rather than drifting with currents. This suggested internal propulsion or active movement. In addition, the consistency of the signal across multiple scans ruled out equipment error. Oceanographic teams compared the data with known sonar signatures, but no match was found. The object's ability to approach, hold position, and then retreat vertically remains one of the most unusual aspects recorded during the incident. Science already found something worse. Long before the October 2023 incident, deep-sea missions had already revealed something unexpected in places like the Pacific Ocean. At depths beyond 10,000 feet, researchers discovered entire ecosystems thriving without sunlight. These weren't just simple organisms. Dense colonies of tube worms, crustaceans, and other species were found living in conditions once thought impossible. What made these discoveries stand out was how these organisms survived. Instead of relying on sunlight, they used chemical energy released from the ocean floor. This process allowed life to exist in complete darkness, far below the reach of normal ecosystems. Some species showed biological adaptations that didn't match established scientific models. Over time, these findings changed how scientists understood deep-sea environments. Life was not limited to surface conditions anymore. These ecosystems proved that evolution could take entirely different paths under extreme pressure and isolation, expanding what was considered possible in places like the Atlantic Basin. Further exploration after 2019 studies revealed that these ecosystems were not isolated pockets, but part of larger connected systems spread across the ocean floor. Researchers began mapping clusters of life forming around chemical vents and fractures in the Earth's crust. In some regions, biomass levels were far higher than expected for such extreme depths. This suggested that energy sources below the surface were more stable and widespread than previously assumed. As data expanded, it became clear that deep-sea life was not just surviving. It was actively evolving in ways that continue to challenge current scientific understanding. Life that doesn't need the sun. Further research during 2019 studies confirmed that these deep ecosystems rely on chemicals like methane and hydrogen sulfide released from the Earth's crust. In regions such as the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, entire food chains operate without any connection to sunlight. Microorganisms convert these chemicals into energy, supporting larger organisms in complete darkness. These conditions include extreme pressure, near freezing temperatures, and toxic environments that would normally prevent life. Yet species not only survive, but form stable ecosystems. This discovery challenged long-standing assumptions about how life functions on Earth. Scientists now recognize that surface-based rules do not apply everywhere. Life in these regions follows a different system, shaped by chemical energy rather than sunlight. In environments deeper than 8,000 feet, evolution has produced organisms that behave and adapt in ways that still aren't fully understood today. The 90% problem. We missed almost everything. As research expanded in 2020 studies, scientists began uncovering something far larger than expected in deep ocean zones like the Pacific Ocean. More than 7,000 species of microbes were identified in extreme depths, many living in complete isolation. What stood out was not just the number, but how unfamiliar they were. Nearly 90% unknown of these organisms had never been recorded in any biological database. These weren't small variations of known life. Entire ecosystems existed that had remained undetected for centuries. Larger organisms found alongside these microbes showed genetic traits that didn't match anything previously studied. Their adaptations allowed them to survive intense pressure, darkness, and chemical-rich environments without relying on surface-based systems. This discovery shifted scientific understanding in a major way. It proved that vast biological networks can exist completely outside human observation. Regions once thought empty were actually active, complex, and evolving independently. As more data came in from deep-sea missions, the scale of what had been missed became clear. Entire systems had developed without ever being seen, raising the possibility that much of Earth's ocean life still remains undocumented. Could intelligence evolve in the deep? Following discoveries made around 2019 research, scientists began focusing on how deep-sea species interact within these isolated systems. In regions like the Atlantic Ocean, some organisms showed advanced sensory adaptations that allow them to detect movement, pressure changes, and chemical signals with precision. These abilities replace vision in environments where light does not exist. Certain species use bioluminescence to communicate, producing controlled light patterns in complete darkness. Others rely on vibration and water movement to detect nearby activity. These forms of interaction suggest structured behavior, even in extreme environments beyond 8,000 feet depth. Isolation plays a major role in how these species evolve. Cut off from surface ecosystems, they follow completely different evolutionary paths. Their behavior is shaped by survival in pressure-heavy, low-energy conditions. Intelligence in such environments may not resemble human thinking. Instead, it could appear as silent coordination, pattern recognition, or environmental awareness. By 2023 analysis, researchers acknowledged that complex behavior in the deep ocean is still not fully understood. The possibility remains that certain organisms may operate with levels of awareness that current science has not yet defined, especially in regions that remain largely unexplored. Why governments take this seriously? As deep-sea research expanded after 2019 missions, findings began to overlap with fields like astrobiology. Scientists studying extreme environments in the Pacific Ocean noticed similarities between Earth's deep oceans and conditions believed to exist on moons like Europa and Enceladus. These locations are thought to contain vast subsurface oceans beneath ice, where sunlight never reaches. The connection became important because life discovered in Earth's depths proved that survival does not require surface conditions. Organisms living beyond 10,000 feet rely entirely on chemical energy, not sunlight. This changed long-standing assumptions about where life can exist. If similar conditions exist elsewhere, then life beyond Earth becomes a scientific possibility rather than speculation. Government research programs began paying closer attention to these environments. Deep ocean zones remain largely unmonitored, especially in remote regions. Any complex organism existing there would operate outside regular observation systems. This creates a gap in understanding where activity could occur without detection. By 2023 reports, agencies acknowledged that Earth's oceans may still contain unknown biological systems. The concern is not just about discovery, but about the lack of visibility. These environments are difficult to access, and current technology only covers a small portion of the ocean floor, leaving vast areas unexplored. The real question isn't what they saw. The ocean covers more than 70% Earth, yet large portions remain unmapped even after 2020 surveys. In fact, more surface detail has been collected from places like Mars than from many deep ocean regions. This imbalance highlights how limited human access still is beneath the surface. Each expedition into deeper zones continues to reveal unexpected findings. New species, unusual ecosystems, and unexplained patterns are reported regularly. These discoveries often challenge previous assumptions about how life behaves in extreme conditions, especially in areas beyond 8,000 feet depth. The incident reported by the fishing crew fits into this larger pattern. It does not stand alone, but aligns with a growing number of observations that suggest the ocean is far more active than once believed. What was seen may not represent something new, but rather something that has always existed outside regular detection. By October 2023, researchers had already confirmed that large sections of the ocean remain unexplored. This means that unknown organisms, behaviors, and ecosystems could exist without ever being recorded, simply because they operate beyond the reach of current observation methods. The North Atlantic is vast, silent, and still mostly unexplored. In October 2023, one fishing crew may have crossed paths with something that doesn't fit into anything we understand about life in the deep. At depths beyond 8,000 feet, where pressure and darkness dominate, something moved with purpose, not instinct. The sightings, the sonar, the behavior, all point to one possibility. What was seen that night may not be new. It may have always been there, far below the surface, hidden in a part of the ocean we've barely begun to understand.